Beyond the muddy roads and silent hills lives a story of resilience waiting to be heard. In Sitio Hukaon, Barangay Milagrosa, Santa Catalina, a place far from comfort, we find stories that quietly teach us how to endure. Because of the rain, the path became muddy and dangerous. The motorcycle could no longer pass except those people from there who expertly done that. We have no choice but walk barefoot. The mud clung to our feet. The ground was slippery. Every movement required effort. Every step felt heavy. And somewhere along that muddy path, we realized something. This is not an adventure for Tatay and Teng. This is his normal. Before reaching his house, we had to pass through the sugarcane plantation. Because of the rain, the already steep slope became even more slippery.
Haladay murag di gyud. Dito ko. Dagan.
It was already around 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we finally arrived in his place. Exhausted, feet are tired. Yet all of that vanished when we saw Tatay and Teng in his small hut. 75 years old, living alone, far from neighbors, far from convenience. When we approached his humble home, Tatay and Teng welcomed us with warmth. His smile was light, his eyes were gentle. In that moment, he did not look like a man living in isolation. He looked content. Although there was a slight communication barrier because he could no longer hear clearly, we adapted. We spoke louder. We moved closer. And slowly, communication became easier. Not just through words, but through presence. Sometimes, understanding does not require perfect hearing. It requires patience, and Tatay had plenty of that. After resting for a few minutes, Tatay go with us to gather bamboo. Even at his age, he moved with purpose.
So today we are here now in the place of Tatay. Karon iyaming gikuyugan ko asa siya gapanguhaan og kawayan nga gamiton para himuon niyang bukat.
Not the old bamboo, it must still be young.
So karon gituluan kong Tatay og asa dapit ang putlon. Asa dapit? Diri dapit. Isa. Ay, bilanggutan.
It was at that moment that we wondered how a 75-year-old man manages to endure all of this. The bamboo is far from his home, yet he still walks there alone to gather it. He guided us carefully. He showed us where to cut.
Kami na, tay.
How to split it.
Ito man, disod. Ano? Pagkanipis.
We learned that making bukag requires exactly 16 strips of bamboo.
Panipsan, de ay.
Murag magkasamad-samad ka ni.
Ay, nipis dyan siya. Nag-amakan. Mas nipis pa sa amakan.
16 carefully prepared pieces. 16 strips that would later form something useful.
Bro.
Labing gamay na natay nga mo order.
Kaya na. Bali lang 300 si Mara.
Nya mo na imong pamalitan og bugas na ana.
Alam mo ko lang yung saligan ko rin.
Maura gyud ni tay. Pila na imo edad tay?
35.
Abtik pa.
Tawa ko sa 49.
Slowly, he teach us how to form the foundation of the bukag.
Tuog yun.
Tuo.
Hindi ko dali. Kaya ko alam na mo na maglisod man po kagbalay.
Every Sunday, he walks down to the proper of Milagrosa to sell them. And if they are not sold, he continues walking to Manalungon.
Ya di ba kamalakan si ana tay nga militihan pa unya.
Ay, lakaw ra.
Alang Manalungon?
Oo. Kadang order para rin. Ay, kuha naman nila order sa Manalungon.
Nya mo dawat po day ka tay.
Dawat na po.
Tag 50 ra gyapong buok.
Ani na isang
So guys, dili jud siya lalim pag gama og bukag sa pagkuha pa lang sa kawayan, sa pagbuak o sa paglimpyo. Grabe gud siya kalisod kay daghay kay siyang mga pagama daghay kay siyang mga pattern.
Our hands were not used to this kind of work. Our backs began to ache. Our arms felt strained. And quietly, we asked ourselves, if this is already tiring for us, how much more for a 75-year-old man who does this regularly?
Pwede na po.
As we continued waving, Tatay Enteng is just there, teaching us patiently.
Pababa. Dayon kani. Ting isuksok siya. Murag taas ra kayo. Layo kayo siya.
Punta na si tatay.
Tay mo saan siya tay para mo dikit. Diri na ni kwaon. Saan siya nga murag dili siya malaki ana dagay. Ay nagbuot na ana.
Para na.
As the sky slowly darkened, we realized we would not finish the basket that afternoon. We had started late, and waving takes time. It demands patience, precision, and rhythm.
Kana ipaano diri, batong diri, kani batong diri. Kani? Ano ko diri? Kana ra. Ay ano. Na. Kani biro kani.
While continuing the waving, we also prepared dinner. The rain also comes, but we find ways to continue. As we continued waving, Tatay shared pieces of his story. He is originally from San Carlos. Life brought him to Sitio Hukaon because of necessity. He has 2 children. They are now away building their own lives. They send money when they can, but it is not always enough. So Tatay continues waving, not because he wants more, but because he needs enough. Each basket is sold for 50 pesos. 50 pesos for hours of work. 50 pesos for carefully woven bamboo. 50 pesos for the strength of aging hands. When it is time for dinner, we sat together, sharing stories between bites of warm bananas and salty dried fish. There were no fancy dishes, no noise from the cities, only quiet conversation. That when we realize life in rural area is very different to the ones in urban.
Kung bukang puro kabuok. Ay tagdot.
Morning came quietly. Tatay woke up early as if his body clock was trained by years of discipline. The air was cold. The surroundings were peaceful. We shared coffee while continuing our conversation. The sunlight slowly entered his hut, illuminating the laughter we shared as he joked to us.
Pag ayaw na lang hindi ano ka kagagasay mo ba? Oo. Agi alaga. Dito na to sa atong
Bunalan dayon.
Bunal dayon.
We polished the bukag. The bamboo is now smooth and clean. At this moment, we decided to help Tatay fetch water.
Dira ba ko kabaloan? Wayang sinilas, blando stand dito ko. Asa na adi ang ang ato man ipakon.
We did not expect what we would see. The path going down to his water source was steep, very steep. Even as young individuals, we struggled to go down safely. Our legs trembled. And yet, this is part of Tatay's daily routine. No complaints, no drama, just acceptance. Then we prepared breakfast. We shared it together. It was simple, yet it became one of the most treasured meals we have ever shared. Because sometimes what makes a meal special is not the food, it is the company. During our stay, we thought our experience walking barefoot in the mud was already grabe. But we realized something deeper. What feels like hardship for us is simply someone else's everyday life. At 75 years old, living alone, walking long distances, fetching water on steep paths, waving basket for 50 pesos, not for experience, but simply to live.
Ayaw na tayo! Ayaw na tayo! Kaysa project naman nila mo. Sana ka buok.